Really good to get back on the grass. Obviously, we started camp with a couple days of meetings just to lay the foundation, starting over. But really excited to get back on the grass. You know, thought the guys moved around well. There was a lot of enthusiasm to start practice, and we finished with a lot of enthusiasm. So I was pleased with just the way they were moving. Obviously, it's a little bit different intensity when the coaches get out. Things are moving a little bit faster. For the older guys, good retention. Again, it's just day one. The foundation of our offense. It's good to see the young guys who hadn't been here that came in this summer, watch them move around. So I'm excited. I think we got a good group. They know what it takes, and they're going to be challenged this camp, and hopefully they'll respond to the challenge.
What were the differences you saw from Trevor Lawrence in the spring to Trevor Lawrence when he comes back, having a little bit more time to learn?
Still very similar. Again, it's day one. I think we'll know more as we get deeper into the installations. Obviously, they've been working pretty much the base offense over the summer without the coaches, but all the quarterbacks I thought did a good job commanding with what we asked them to do today. Saw some really good balls from all three quarterbacks. So excited to get it on the film, and again, we get challenged. That's what I love about our practice field is you're going to get exposed, you're going to get challenged, and Brent had those guys moving around, and so it's going to be a good camp, and I'm excited about all positions.
You obviously don't like to have Tavian out, but is that good for Lynn J to kind of get in there and maybe get a little bit extra look?
Well, he was going to get a look anyway. Obviously, we only got 4 guys. You know, we lost one off cycle that we didn't anticipate with Fuller moving on, and I thought we were going to have him back. Lynn J would be the 5th guy, but right now he's the 4th scholarship guy. With Taven out, he got bumped up into maybe working a little bit more with the first couple reps of the second team, where he might not have gotten those reps had Taven been in practice.
What were your early thoughts on him and kind of what kind of player he is?
On Lynn J?
Yes, sir.
You know, it validated what I thought I saw in the recruiting process on film. I've compared him to Ellington. He's got a very good quick first step. He's a natural runner. Obviously, he's a lot like Travis when Travis came in. He doesn't quite understand where we're trying to run the ball, but he sees the whole field, and if he sees green grass, he's going to be able to get to it. And I thought he moved around well and caught the ball well too.
Coach, when you went into Skeletons today, Justin Ross was out there. Tell us about what you saw in him in his first day here.
You know, because of the way we're handling the Skeletons with trying to get as many reps as we can with 2 groups, I wasn't on the side where he was repping, so I didn't get to see him quite as much. I'll have to watch him on film to be able to answer that.
Did you see what you needed to see out of Kelly as far as a confidence perspective coming out here today?
You know, I think so. And again, he's going to have it every day. Trevor's going to have it every day. Chase going to have it every day. But I think as a whole, the guys came out really confident, and they're going to be challenged, and hopefully we can maintain that confidence. That's what I told the guys post-practice. We want to be fast, physical, and confident, and we're going to play fast. We're going to be physical because we got to go against this defense every day in practice. And if we can accept the challenge, we're going to be confident by the time we tee off in September.
Travis's weight didn't change too much. Was that by design?
Well, he was up to about 202 when he weighed in, so he's actually up, you know, about 7 pounds. But if you look at his body looks different. And the biggest thing for him, he's a lot more confident. Before he would go down to the other end of the weight room, and now he's ready to lift with the big boys. And you know, it's hard to go stand next to Choice because Choice is a 5th-year guy. He's 220 pounds, and you know he can throw up a lot on the bench. But I think what it did for Travis is just the additional strength that he gained in the weight room. His confidence is at a different level from a strength standpoint.
Do you see the same hunger from the guys, despite now they're the hunted as opposed to the team that, you know, is overlooked at times? Did you see the same hunger?
Oh, no question, because we got to accept the challenge. We're not going to sneak up on anybody, and even when we weren't, so to speak, the 100 last year, we still got everybody's A game. So these guys knows what they're going to be in for week in and week out. And these guys, especially on defense, and even Mitch coming back on offense, you know, they came back for a reason. They didn't just come back just to go through the motions. They came back to prove something on the field. So I saw a hunger and a determination, and the key is going to be for 25 practices, can we sustain that and maintain that?
Braden Galloway, a little bit different looking athlete out there. Does he remind you of a young Jordan Leggett when you watch him move out there?
He does. Sometimes you got to look at the numbers. It's like, man, you're reminiscent of Leggett. Now still has a long way to go,
Sure.
A lot to learn, but you could tell his confidence is up. He came in, I think, about 242 pounds in that ballpark, and obviously we know he can run. And I'm excited to see when we put the pads on and we turn him loose in some of our competitive drills, how he's going to respond there.
Him gaining that 17 pounds, that kind of showed you guys how serious he was about getting out here and seeing what he can do, trying to be involved.
No question. And all these freshmen that have come in, man, it's just, you know, they have a determination and a hunger about them, and they've all linked up and they're tight. And you can see, you know, he runs with KJ Henry, and KJ Henry was a guy that came in and put on some weight. And he hangs with X Thomas, and so you see those guys are tight and they push each other. And in the end, that's going to make them all better.
Is that something that like a trend you've noticed over the years, that more freshmen come into fall camp and spring camp
physically ready to play?
You know, I think with the process happening a lot earlier, they make their decisions, and then they're able to focus on what's important, finishing out the right way with their high school, and then mentally getting themselves prepared for the college level. And then again, they spend a lot of time on your campus. They already know your guys, so they know what your culture is about. So by the time they show up on campus, they have a really, really good idea. And then once they're exposed to it, if they come in mid-year or if they come in the summer, by the time we get our hands on them, they've already been indoctrinated into the culture and they know what's expected.
Coach, talk about what it's like to have that offensive line be so experienced where you can run the ones and twos in there and not drop off and just keep the consistency and being coherent with play calling.
You know, it sounds good right now. We still got to work to that point. And obviously on paper, we got a lot of experience coming back. But still, you got John, and will be in his first year in a starting role at left guard. So again, we still got to earn that. But it's good to know that you got some depth and that you don't have to change things up and you don't have to worry, and you can really strain them and push them. And then that's what's making them all better, because they got competition with guys behind them. And that's what I think has separated us as a program, is the competition that we have on the practice field.
Coach, when you talked about Jackson Carmen today, were you surprised when he weighed in at 338 yesterday? You
know, not surprised, but happy for him. You know, he was a guy that was highly recruited. You know, came in and we challenged him. You know, and obviously it was an adjustment. You know, coming into the program, and he's accepted the challenge. And to see him with a smile on his face and him being confident that he was able to put in the work and to drop his weight to where it is, to give him a chance to compete, and he's really, really happy with him. But we knew going in that he was the kind of kid that he's got that character, he's got that makeup, and it just takes a little bit of time for some guys for the light to come on.
Even though it was just shorts today, T. Higgins just looks like a different player out there, smooth, confident. Were you expecting him to take that next step?
Well, we saw it in the spring game. You know, he kind of showed up. He was a little bit up and down in spring practice, and then you saw the light really click when we were in the stadium. And so hopefully that's going to carry on through the course. And again, it's shorts. We'll know, you know, mid next week. The following week, when you're really into the dog days of camp, that's really when you're going to find out if the guys are ready or not.
What does J.P. Lossman bring to the offensive staff?
You know, just a different perspective. I mean, he's a guy that's competed at the highest level, played quarterback. He's got a wealth of knowledge. He's got an understanding of some things from a schematic standpoint that we may not have because of the complexity of what they do at the NFL level. So just having him as a sounding board, being able to be an extra set of eyes, it's been invaluable. All those guys that help us in those off-the-field positions, they do an unbelievable job of helping us 5 full-time guys put together a plan.
Coach, what did you see from Linjay today? You know, how does he compare to just your typical freshman coming in?
You know, he's swimming just like any typical freshman at the running back position, because it's a lot. You know, we get in there in day one install. You know, he's got to figure out how to line up. Then I got the right footwork. I got to understand where the plays design, where I'm supposed to go from a blocking standpoint. Then I got pass protection. And I got routes. So, but I tell you what. By the time we got on the field, you know, I was pleased with his comprehension. You know, obviously in the meeting room, it's going fast. I'm throwing stuff at him. I'm trying to keep the older guys engaged as we go back to the basics, get him up to speed. And, you know, in the meeting room, it was happening fast. But when we got on the field and he was able to actually do it and feel it, you know, I was very pleased with his comprehension. And when he gets the ball in his hands, we all know that he can move. He's a dynamic athlete. He's up to 192 pounds right now. So he's put himself in a position to where hopefully when the pass come on, he can protect himself and take the punishment. So I'm excited, but again, it's still just day one install. So hopefully I feel the same way after day 4, day 5 install.
When you say he's similar to Travis, is that as far as kind of just trying to get used to swimming early on, or you see some of that same
Correct. Just I saw some explosiveness. You know, maybe not quite. You know, the first step is Travis, but you know, it was one that caught my attention. Like, well, okay, you know, he's moving, and then he bounced one to the outside. He was wrong, kind of like Travis was wrong a lot going to the outside. But when he put it in gear, he was able to get to the outside and just. And I hadn't seen him do a whole lot because of the summer, but just watching the way that he comes out here and he strides and he glides, you can tell that he can run.
I was going to say, Dabo has said that this is experience-wise and talent-wise probably the most that he's had since he's been here. Would you agree with that offensively, and do you feel good about where you guys are?
You know, I think from a depth standpoint, we got a lot of guys that got some experience and we're very, very talented. Now, what we got to do in order to bring that to life is we got to create that cohesion and that chemistry and not just be guys with a lot of potential, but we got to be able to perform. So I like the makeup of the guys we have on offense. And now we got 25 days to bring it all together and see can we create that chemistry and that cohesion, because if you're talented but you're not a team, you know, it doesn't matter.
Tony, how big a role does Adam Choice play in that meeting room, being the elder statesman in that group, knowing he's not going to get the carries?
Yeah, I tell you what, Adam's battling now. Adam has not, since the spring, he has not made it easy on anybody. Even late in the season last year, late in the season, he's a guy that you can count on. He's going to be where he's supposed to be. He's going to do what he's supposed to do. And when his confidence is at its highest level, I mean, he's as good as anybody in the room. So I'm hoping that coming into it, he understands that he's in a position where if he wants the job, he can go take the job. I mean, he's capable of taking the job. He just has to keep his confidence up and continue to be himself and not try to be something that he's not. Everybody knows how explosive Travis is, right? But Travis has to learn how to be as disciplined a player as Adam Choice is. And that's what gives Adam an opportunity to compete. So without him in the room, you don't see the development of the young guys, being able to get up to speed with what we ask them to do.
Tony, most teams don't have one guy who looked like Justin Ross, T. Higgins, or DeAndre Overton. I mean, is it eye-opening when you look out there and you see three guys who looked that?
Yeah, I was walking through flex today, and obviously the receivers are right next to the backs in the flex lines, and I got to looking and I see Travion, and Travion's a good looking. Right. He's about 6'1.5", great looking guy, veteran guy. And then you walk down and then you see DeAndre, 6'5". Then you see T. Then you see Justin. I'm like, golly. Kind of reminds me of I was a small guy when I played, when you had Kevin Youngblood and Derek Hamilton. But now these young guys, and they're big and physical. Those guys are all 200 pounds and can run and can catch and be acrobatic in the air. So Jeff's got a good problem.
Cornell Powell's got some arms on him too.
Hey man, I tell you what, he's I call him sometimes the model for like Under Armour.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he is put together. He is a jacked up youngster, and I'm really excited with where he is mentally too. I think he's a guy that can really come on and help us and give us some tremendous depth, at that two-man position.
With those big bodies at the wide receiver position, when you go into the game plan sessions with Jeff later on this fall, it's got to be a luxury knowing you can put those big bodies out there and wear those DBs out. There's not going to be 2 and 3 deep DBs running around trying to cover you guys.
Correct, and then the ability to change up speeds on them. You can put a big body on them, and you can change up speeds. And our offense is built around trying to drive the ball down the field. And when you have a big body down the field, you just increase the chances of having successful plays because they're bigger, they're stronger, and they can go up and play above the rim. So it is a luxury, but we got to get to the point to where they have the confidence. The quarterbacks have the confidence because they've had the production in practice.
Coach, there's a big emphasis on tempo in the spring. Is similar emphasis here in August?
No question. I mean, that's who we are. We're a two-minute pace, and obviously, over time, with Deshaun, you give Deshaun the ability to do some things, But at the same time, we still got to get back to our core, playing fast, until we get to that point to where a quarterback can manage the system and maybe slow you down in some certain situations. But the emphasis now is we want to be fast.
Do you know what Travis is benching right now?
I'm not sure, but I think it's. I don't want to say it wrong. I'm not sure.
How do you work the first team reps between the quarterbacks, and is that something that you reevaluate after every practice, after every few practices? Or?
Streeter has a plan for that, and again, I saw all the guys working first team reps, and he's going to give those guys an opportunity, to compete. That's the fairest way. And then the way we split up scale gives them all opportunities to get a bunch of reps and pass scale, and we'll go evaluate it tonight, and then he'll have his metrics on what he's going to use to evaluate that, and then he'll come out tomorrow and he'll have another rotation.